Ohayou gozaimasu, which means good morning in Japanese. So, welcome to another moment together. This time it's different because you'll be noticing we're in London. And I just finished a 2-day fine food fair with my business partner Ikeda-san, which we've introduced, and it was together with two other tea producers from the Kagoshima region, and we've had a very interesting time understanding how popular Japanese green tea is incredibly here in London, and the enthusiasm around it, although there was a tube strike which kind of cut the energy of the fair a bit. We're still happy about it. Now, on my free time before I head to my flight tonight actually at 6 p.m. I wanted to do some cafe hopping, see some matcha cafes in the region, in the city, other than the ones we work with. So stick with me and I'll give you, some quick feedback on how I find these matchas. I'll see you guys later. Hello again. So this is the place. It's called How Matcha. And they serve the matcha shot, which I would have imagined is the pure version. Form, no latte, no nothing, no anything. And this is how it looks like. It's to me it's a bit watery. So I've tasted it and it's not bad. I can sense the quality of the matcha. It's also from Kagoshima, so it's probably a more recognizable taste for me. But other than that, it's way too watery. Like there's too much water there for my taste. And it's also a bit bitter. So, and I've seen it and I've heard of this place on Instagram. It's been pretty hyped up, so for now, how matcha? Not the best start, but it's okay. See you at the next moment. So, hello there again. That was Wa Cafe, and it's a pastry shop, which I have to admit I wasn't allowed to film, so unfortunately I couldn't film inside. I have to say the pastries were really good. I had the matcha tiramisu, not bad. The matcha though, that was a tough one. It was so bitter. It was a good thing I got the pastry. So matcha, not good. Pastries, decent. On to the next one. See you later. Hello there. We meet again for the last matcha tasting of the day before we get back to Torino, to the airport, to our flight back. This is it. Genki Matcha. It's inside Selfridges. So it's inside the department store. Small booth. This is the purest form I can find, the matcha cano, which is very diluted, if you can say. Let's try it. It's not bitter, it's alright. It's not even a shot either, so you wouldn't know. However, it is kind of difficult to say what flavor the matcha is, if it's any good quality, because it's so watered down. I think generally it's not bad. It seems okay. Their focus clearly seems all of these combinations. I took a photo of every menu, so we'll look at them together when we have a moment where we can kind of relax and regroup. But generally, yeah, there's a lot of matcha spots, but they all seem like to focus on more coffee inspired versions, drinks, a lot of flavored drinks, sugary drinks like strawberry matcha lattes or all that kind of stuff. But there are some good spots like now that I've tried these three, probably how matcha isn't that bad. Obviously, the matcha dough, which we work with, if you happen to be in London, I'll put the links to every spot I've been to in the description so you can find them. And matcha dough, obviously, the ones we didn't try together, but because I've been to during a lunch break in the fair, is the best and the most authentic because they have Japanese staff, Japanese owner, and they know their stuff, and also because our match is there. So that's that. Now, I don't know if I'll finish this or not, but I'm going to get a quick bite and then head to the airport because with the tube strike it might take me a while. So, see you guys later. So, this is where we regroup. Back into you. It's been another day. It's actually 4 p.m. on the following day. After we've last talked, I went back, ate a burger, a really good one. Immediately had to take Uber to Stansted because there was incredible traffic because of the tube strike. Took me around like 2 hours and a half. Then, Ryanair, so different long processes. You can hear we're in Italy. Then flew back, arrived around home around 10:30, 11. So I was completely knackered at that point. And so got up this morning, had a lot of things to, do to kick things off and get back into the groove of things. And here we are, regrouping and being able to kind of close what we started in London. Exactly. Matcha in London. Overall, I have to say the three spots I tried. I mean, if we look at what they offer, Wa Cafe was, let's go in order. How Matcha was the first one where I had the matcha shot. It actually cost £3, so decent price. Has a lot of those creative drinks. So you have a shot of matcha cano, which is what I had at Jenki, so watered down matcha. Chawan Dirty Glow, which is rose water. Then it has milk. Then it has orange peel, and then it has a refreshing list of matcha tonics, which is passion fruit, mango, raspberry, strawberry, yuzu, cucumber, mint, which I think, and then it also has coffees, of course. It also has a Chawan matcha, which I think is a nice touch, where basically they will serve it in a bowl, like a little nod to the tradition of matcha, which I always like. I don't mind. Wa Cafe was a pastry, so I had basic offering of matcha latte, hojicha latte. The matcha starts with £3.90, so almost the same price. It also had Japanese tea, so sencha, genmaicha, hojicha. For some reason, Gyokuro is never on that list, probably because it's hard to come by and expensive. The pastry that was good, and that thank God it was good because if you can see here, that's the tiramisu matcha, and that's the matcha shot. It was a nice touch. It was presented well in like a cappuccino, in an espresso cup, and everything, but so bitter. Like I wouldn't be able to drink any more than that. And it also sold the matcha, which now that I see it's 20 grams, £15. It is also a bit cheap. Kind of probably explains that. And then the last one, Jenki, which was kind of a bummer for me because if you think of it like it was in Selfridges. In fact, I wasn't allowed to film, and then but they only had no matcha shot available, just a matcha can or flat green or matcha latte, and then it's vanilla, chai, hojicha, London fog, which is some kind of cocktail. Then they have signatures, but they're like rose, lavender, ginger, turmeric, cacao. There's no like pure form to kind of really taste the matcha, which I guess I'm particular about. Probably the London crowd really doesn't care too much about, the pure matcha. They just like it creatively and a bit sweet. They sell matcha at home, £34 for a 40-gram tin. So it's a decent price. It's not cheap. It's okay. I guess that kind of, I could have bought that, but maybe another time. However, if I have to recommend a matcha spot in London with the very little experience I have, because I just tried the matcha in, let's call it the city, the center, not even all of the center, it was the Baker Street, Marylebone, Oxford area. So let's call it. Near where I used to study, and I didn't even go in other areas, so I wouldn't really know. But from what I've experienced until now, the spot which feel safe in recommending is Matcha Do. And I'll put all the links in the description of the places I visited, and the locations of the spots I went to, and I'll put everything. However, Matcha Do has Japanese ownership, which is very, very, very keen on respecting, flavor and understanding the quality of the product. To which they make their own sweets, so they make their own cookies, their own cheesecakes. The dorayaki is the only thing they probably don't make, but they'll make everything they have in their store. They have their own kitchen. I love the fact that they have Japanese staff, which is very complicated, but they do the work, they go through the hassle, so it already feels more Japanese and authentic. And not only that, but they also have the usual offering. Matcha sauce 3.8, so it's basically the same price. Matcha tea, which I probably guess it's what they call a matcha cano. Brown sugar lattes, and then they have, latte fresh mangoes, strawberries, and then they have sencha, hojicha, genmaicha, hojicha latte, a selection of coffees, the affogato, which is ice cream with matcha on top, which really looked delicious, but I didn't have it. For this summer, they had blueberry and peach matcha lattes, sweet sets, scones, the whole ordeal. And I tried the matcha, and it was good. They don't only have our matcha. Like, I think our matcha is, well, it kind of rotates. Also because of the availability, we can't always supply them. So they have other matcha, but they always choose with that criteria. So matcha is excellent. Matcha though, the spot in the place I would recommend if you're in London to have some good matcha and be welcomed by some great Japanese hospitality. Other than that, I think London as a whole was very. I haven't been there in like 10 years because it was very interesting to see how it's actually the most crazed out of, let's call it, the European area of countries. I think Germany and Spain too are on par with it. Italy is obviously a bit behind. France is getting there, but they're also a bit closed off, so it's a bit difficult. But London definitely has some good matcha spots, and it's the thing I loved is that it's very easy to find. So I was traveling. I did have my set, but maybe I'm out for the fair and I left my set in the room and I wanted a matcha. It wasn't too complicated to find, so I love that. Other than that, I think this will wrap up kind of this improvised meeting we've had, because I wanted to share with you a little bit of what I did in London in my spare time. The fair wasn't anything too interesting to document, I don't think. And it was a bit chaotic, so I don't think it would have been interesting, but maybe no. I might bring you along with another fair with me next time. Two small details you may noticed, designed by us. And now I think already available in Japan, will soon be available here in Europe, I hope, very soon, because we designed it. And I'm loving this. I just received this after London as a gift, this prototype. So other than that, thank you if you've arrived until here. We'll have this next meeting very soon, hopefully next week. I may do my best to be able to so that we can see each other again next week and have another nice chat. Thank you very much. Yeah. Matane.